Humans of the Cardboard, second upload for today. Big news here, and by big news I mean big news for me and whoever else is a B-Trooper fan. I love B-Troopers. I really hope Konami follows up with them in a good way. But here we have a brand new B-Trooper fusion monster shown off here. We saw in the second wave of support they got, where Konami kind of went in the fusion direction, but they kind of flopped on it. The fusion spell is kind of underwhelming. The fusion monster requires 5 insects to make, I believe. And it just wasn't that good overall. But we have a new fusion. Hopefully that kind of makes that a little more plausible. I don't know. We'll see. We also have a brand new spell card that kind of power creeps double summon straight up. And we also have a new Lola Bunny looking ass card. But it's actually a pretty interesting card. We'll get to that at the end. But let's start with the good stuff. The meat and potatoes, obviously, is B-Trooper Cruel Saturn. Can we just take a second and just appreciate B-Troopers? The artwork for B-Troopers is just so freaking cool. They could have just made gross-looking bug dudes, but like they're awesome armored little bug dudes riding giant behemoth bug dudes. I love it. It's so good. Anyway, this is a level 5 Dark Insect Fusion Effect monster. Keep in mind, level 5, this is an instant fusion target. I know this will just be like a like instant fusions at 1, so like it just kind of makes a 1-of good for the deck, but whatever. It's 2400 attack, 2000 defense, and its fusion materials are 1 B-Trooper plus an insect, so not too bad. You do still need a B-Trooper regardless. I would have liked this so much more if we could have used any 2 insects. That would have been so nice, but it is what it is. And then its first and third effects are hard ones per turns. If this card is special summoned, you can add a B-Trooper card from your deck to your hand. I mean, that is not bad. I love that this is card. That could load something like Sting Lancer into the hand to just be a hand trap on the opponent's turn. That could be a Scale Bomber that you could, if you still have ways to extend, to get out and get its effect, live to be an interruption, as well as Assault Roller to just immediately be an extender, especially if you have like a Rezo engraved to get it banished. A lot of really good things there. And then there's even like the benefits of like Descent, simple extender, or the Trap card. This card also makes the Trap card a little more interesting because that is just another bonus interruption, and the Trap card just needs a B-Trooper on field to make it live. Second thing, the last thing I'll mention about this effect, this is on special summon, not fusion summon. So once you get this card in rotation, if you can't continue to get it out, it is going to search you a B-Trooper card every single time you're able to summon it. Obviously once per turn, but still really, really good effect there. And then secondly, you cannot special summon monsters except insect monsters. So that's just while it's on the field. So you'd have to link off with this card or fuse off with this card into another insect monster to then unlock yourself. All the extra deck B-Troopers, I think, have that same clause. And then the last effect, if an insect, monster, or monsters become banished face up. So we do this all the time in the deck. Whether it's, you want Resonance Insect banished, whether you're using Armor Horn to banish stuff, or, like Assault Roller, or Doom Dozer, any of those cards. There's multiple ways to banish insects built into the deck, so that's very, very easy to do. You can target one of your banished B-Trooper monsters and special summon it. That's actually really cool because also, I believe Armor Horn itself, once you reborn itself by banishing a card, I believe it says next time it leaves the field, it banishes itself. So Armor Horn should end up banished regardless, I think. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I believe that's Armor Horn. So Armor Horn will be banished that way, and you could just summon him back out immediately. Really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know fusion probably isn't the route you guys were hoping for. If you've been watching my channel for the last couple of probably year-ish, I've called for this. I've wanted a B-Trooper Link 2 that's just literally Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, but just for insects, right? Easy Link 2 interruption, kind of just replace what Verte Anaconda was for the deck without the bricks, and maybe not a strong follow-up, but still really good. I'm not complaining. This is really good. This makes Instant Fusion probably just a must-of in the deck as a main deck card, just because this is so powerful, right? It's a free insect body that doesn't require any other requirements, nothing engraved, nothing on field, none of that. Summon it out, and if you can get another insect banished, you could potentially extend other bodies onto the field as well. This card could be up to a +2 with upside. It's really nice. I mean, it's a nice card. The downside, and we talked about this when we actually got the BEETROOPER fusion spell revealed specifically, it's just a regular fusion spell. It sends insects from hand and field. It doesn't banish from graveyard or anything like that, which is kind of a bummer. We talk about this all the time. If you're going to make an archetype fusion based in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, you either need a lot of materials that float to make up for a bunch of resources you're going to put into a fusion, or you need broken fusion spells that are like sending from deck, like Branded Fusion, or banishing from grave, you know, like Shaddoll Schism, stuff like that. So we'll see. I'm not sure if this card will make the fusion spell worth playing by itself, but it definitely makes instant fusion worth playing, and as long as you're okay with fitting one more extra deck slot, this card is such a plus that it's nice. So it's a nice tool. Doesn't fix BEETROOPERs, but it's a nice piece. Hopefully this is just a sign of more to come, though, for BEETROOPER, but we'll see. Moving on here, we have Time-rending Morganite. It's a new normal spell card. For the rest of this duel, apply each of these effects. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand. Second effect, you can draw, you draw 2 cards each time you conduct your normal draw. So instead of drawing 1 card per turn, you draw 2. And you can normal summon or set up to twice per turn. So wow. So pretty much you sacrifice the ability to use any hand traps or any archetype that needs to use a monster effects in the hand for the ability to draw 2 instead of 1 every turn, and the ability to normal summon more than once per turn as well. That is super, super interesting. And then the second effect, you can banish this card from graveyard to discard a Time-rending Morganite, and then each time you normal summon a monster this turn, your opponent cannot activate monster effects. That's just so if you're going to play this card at 3, these effects apply for the rest of the duel, not the turn. So any subsequent copy of this card that you draw after that first one is pretty much dead. So this at least gives some utility to that. So if you draw a second one off of like the draw 2 on your next turn, you can pitch it to at least make sure your opponent can't respond to your normal summons that turn, which is pretty good because you have 2 of them. And yeah, very, very interesting card. I mean, like, double summons are actually not the worst card. We just don't love it in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh because it is kind of like a -1. But this card kind of also makes up for that because, you know, as long as you can get the duel to go into somewhat grindy fashion, you're going to be drawing 2 cards every turn, which is good. So I don't know. I could see this card seeing play in like some slower, maybe some control-y trap decks that don't need hand traps in the main. I don't know. I could see something like this, or maybe a deck that plays a lot of normal summons in conjunction with each other and are kind of known to be a little cloggy with too many of those. This could help with that as well. I don't know. There's definitely got to be a handful of decks that you would say. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below what decks you think would fit best for this new card, because there's got to be some good ones. So let me know. And the final card here is called Usamimi Doshi. Like I said, this is like a Lola Bunny looking ass card. It's a level 1 Earth Beast Warrior, so searchable off of Fire Formation Tenki. Its attack is 200, its defense is 100, nothing crazy there. Once per chain, when the effect of a monster, except for her, is activated, quick effect, place 1 bunny ears counter on it. Monsters with bunny ears counter cannot be destroyed by battle. Not a big deal. That's totally fine. And the second effect, once per turn as a quick effect, you can target 1 monster with a bunny ears counter as cost, banish both that monster and this card until the standby phase of the next turn. Interesting. So I guess the idea here is it's just once per chain on that first effect, so you can technically put a bunny ears counter on like everything that's activating on the field, essentially. So if your opponent activates a monster effect on field, you'd be able to put a bunny ears counter on it, and then as a quick effect, you banish both this card and that card, which again is also kind of nice because this card kind of dodges out. It's coming back later, so you kind of are just farfing your opponent. It's not as good as straight up farfing your opponent because you need the first situation to happen first. You have to let them activate an effect first before you can even make stuff live to be banished. But this is an interesting card that kind of can be really annoying and keep your opponent from maintaining certain monsters on the field at times. It's an interesting card. It's very Bunny-esque, like kind of hit and run tactics kind of going on there. You know, but I don't know. It's an interesting card, I think. I think it's at least funny. I think for like draft, for doing like drafts, this would be a pretty funny card for that. And it's probably going to be a common, so that would be funny. But yeah, definitely the big cards here. Cool Saturn, cool for BEETROOPers. This is a good sign, I would say, because the second wave of BEETROOPer support was such a letdown. It was like 7 cards, and it had like, I guess we play Assault Roller at 1, and I think it had Descent in it. And other than that, like all 5 other cards were like useless, like so bad. So we actually have a playable card here. That's a good sign at the very least. Hopefully Konami keeps it up and gives us like another Link monster, whether it's like a really good Link 3 or, you know, a Hieratic Seal Link 2. Like, I'd go crazy, but, you know, we'll have to obviously wait and see what Konami wants to do with that. But yeah, that's it for us here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts down below. This should put us with like slightly over 20 cards left, actually, for Cyberstorm Access, but you know, we've got almost a week and a half now left until the set comes out, so obviously I'll keep you updated on anything new there. Hopefully they finish strong. There's still like 4 slots right at the beginning of the monster lineup, so there should be some impactful stuff there. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe if you haven't. Thoughts down below. Peace.